Good evening. My name is David Lee Roth, and I'm welcoming all... Second take. Good evening. I'm David Lee Roth, and I'm welcoming all of you in Japan to the David Lee Roth special for the next hour. Join yours truly, David Lee Roth. We'll be looking in on the live show. We'll be looking in on the videos, the music, and everything that goes in between. Yours truly, David Lee Roth, right here on the David Lee Roth special.
This program is presented by Toshiba.
Carver, presented by Toshiba.
SVHS の新しい高画質ビデオ
ES1, presented by Toshiba.
Hi everybody! 皆さんこんばんは、セラです。さて今夜はですね、とにかくデイビッド・リー・ロススペシャル、もう1時間デイビッドの魅力をね、たっぷりとお届けしたいと思います。もちろんショーの方もお見せしますが、普段のね、彼の、中にあるもの、ちょこっと見せていただけたら嬉しいな、そんな感じがして、このセットにお邪魔したわけなんですが、Thank you very much for letting me be on your show tonight.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be in Japan, and it's a pleasure to be performing here. It's a pleasure to be on the television and the radio. This is the land of the television and the radio and the stereo. Oh, certainly.
Have you had fun?
I've had a spectacular time, and it's been too long since I came back.
That's right, 9 years. Why did you take that picture for the album cover, though? I mean, of course, you're on the rock.
Oh, that's a 4.5-day climb. That was the northwest face route of Half Dome in Yosemite. That's in the north of California. And that's a 4.5-day climb. And the character who took the pictures did the climb with me, as well as 2 of my friends. And these are people who have nothing to do with rock and roll. These are people who live out of the back of their cars on $2,500, $3,000 a year. And they live for the art. And I find that keeps me honest.
I was wondering, you have the not the Diamond, yes it is, the Diamond Dave Enterprise, right? And you're what we call the shacho there, the boss. Doesn't it get very tiresome? You're on stage, you're producing, you're directing, and then you're also the boss there. And how do you do this?
I work very closely with a number of super professionals. I look for people who've got great heart and who are a little bit left of the center, who are a little bit eccentric in their perspectives, who think in Technicolor, who paint with big easels, you know. And in that approach, I call that the Walt Disney approach, not the Mickey Mouse approach, but like Walt Disney, I don't think he ever drew a mouse, but he was always leaning over the shoulder of the people saying, no, I think he might do that with his left hand, or I think he would wear shorts, or whatever it was. So the personality always comes out. And as an artist, the very best that I can do, the very best is 99.5% of what I'm thinking, what's between my ears or in my heart or in my pants, depending on the song. Works every time. Works every time. Go slow. Okay, here we go.
とてもいつもデイビッドさんはね、 エネルギッシュで体操運動もいっぱいやられるし、どうやってそのエネルギーをいつもキープアップしてらっしゃるのかという質問です。
I truly enjoy what I do because I don't do just one thing. If I'm guilty of any sins, it's probably the sin of leaving something out, of omitting something. Also, there's a lot under the surface that you might not initially perceive. For example, the song Just a Gigolo, if you read the lyrics, is a very sad song. And if you see 30,000 people singing with their arms in the air, I ain't got nobody, well then they're transcending what the lyric is initially about. And that's kind of the way I base my life.
My power source comes from enthusiasm. I'm not an optimist, but I'm enthusiastic. And I'm not a participant, I'm a competitor. And the only thing you have to do is you just wake up one morning and say, that's it. I'm a participant and I'm a competitor.
How long did it take to tape those videos, though? All the makeup and the most of it?
In pictures like Just a Gigolo, there are 114 members of the cast, and everybody is dressed right down to the shoes. When you watch Just a Gigolo, look at all the people in the background. It's layered, it's like an onion, not a bell pepper. And you can see again and again in discovering these other pictures, like Going Crazy with the Picasso brothers, but the fat man, it takes 6-7 hours for the makeup. It's prosthetic makeup for the movie people in Hollywood. And these are designed to be seen again and again. I don't see them as video clips. I see them as short films. It's 3 minutes, 28 seconds. Wow. Okay, here we go.
Can we talk about videos?
Certainly.
Where do you come up with the ideas, or everybody gets together and comes up with the idea?
Well, my partner Pete Angelis and I are the Picasso brothers. And for those of you who haven't heard this term before, we call it Picasso because that means fine art. And when we say the word brothers, well, that sounds a little bit like pizza delivery. And that's a combination of what we do. The ideas come from the convenience store at 2 in the morning. The ideas come from the lady who works the cash register. I have very little interest in stars. The people who sweep up in this studio after we leave are the stars of my videos. And that way you can see those characters and you recognize them. They're combinations of 3 and 5 different people. And I don't know about you, but I'm no first prize, okay? And the people that we put in the videos are the people who are the least of all and act like they're first place.
Talking about the show and, of course, the costumes and everything, you do get into the designing in that. And
all of it is expression, and the music should look like it sounds. And alternately, the music is furious, and sometimes the music is very gentle. And sometimes the music whips like the wind. And sometimes it's just a breeze, you know. So you have the clothes reflect that, as well as the moves. It's all combination of things, you know. The clothing and the music and the show come from a variety of things. There's Broadway, there's Las Vegas, there's a little bit of classic theater in there, there's martial arts, there's tap dancing. It's all based on rock and roll. The shoes and the haircuts are rock and roll, but to add to it,
working all night long. Let me hear you say yeah! Yeah!
How about the steel drums, and where did that come from?
Well, you know, most people when they say rock and roll, that means they're going to imitate Led Zeppelin. Now let's think for a second who I'm talking about, because I'm not going to say the names. Okay, but you know, a lot of people forget. It's not, you don't just marry inside your family again and again and again, because you know what your kids are going to look like
That's
after
true.
a while, a couple generations down. Same thing for music. Same thing that for anything that happens on stage. So let's take from other kinds of music and add it to the rock and roll.
I just seen her face, I can't forget the time or place where we just met. She's just a girl for me, and I want all the world to see we met. La 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 la. Had it been another day, I might have looked the other way, but I have never been to work. But as it is, I'll dream of her tonight. La 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 la. Falling, yes I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. I have never known the like of this. I've been alone and I have missed things and kept out of sight. But other girls were never quite like this. La 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 la. Falling, yes I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again.
I just couldn't get over that one phrase where the girl in the shopping center, the convenience store goes, the honeymoon is definitely over. I just couldn't get over that. I had such a gas over that.
These people, you recognize them. Each character there is a combination of 5 different people. And I'm not a comedian. I'm not here to make
Are they
fun
here
of
today, or? How about 10 years from now? What do you think you'll be doing?
this, plus a dozen and a half other things. This is the 1980s, man. You gotta use the radio and the video and everything. A lot of people will tell you, yeah, we're just a band, dude. We're just a rock band. That means they're incapable of doing anything else and or they're afraid of trying other things. And now, you know, you got the movie, you got the video. All of this is an art. What we're doing right now, take a look around behind us. This is an art project here, you know? And if you see it as that rather than some kind of work, then you can go forever. And the music changes, the instruments change, the audiences grow and change. Hey, if I follow you home, will you keep me?
Who came up with the boxing gym?
Hey,
Or should I say, why the boxing
the
gym?
boxing ring. When you drop a boxing ring in
Yeah.
front of people, it's one of the most universally recognized symbols in the world. Next to the cross, perhaps, something like that. But the boxing ring means a dozen different things to 9 different people. You'll have to think about this when you watch it back on the VCR, Japan. But when you drop a boxing ring, yeah, there's a little sense of humor. Because, hey, what's this doing in a rock show? But at the same time, there's some wild things happening in a boxing ring. There's a lot of passion there, and there's a lot of potential. And everybody's chased by time, you know? All that goes into rock music. It comes out in the best songs, comes out in the best show. Let's put it in the boxing ring.
さて、皆さんにねちょっとメッセージなんかいただきたいなと思ったんですけれども、せっかくだからただ単にメッセージじゃつまんない。そこでやっぱりね、ダイモンド・デーブさんのことですから、彼が一番好きなジョークっていうのがあったらね、放送できるかどうかちょっと不安がありますが、ちょっと聞いてみたいと思いますが、Finally, I wanted to ask you for a message.
That's a whole lot to say the word finally, isn't it?
I wanted to give a message to your fans out here, but I figured, well, you know, you've been giving messages while you were here in Japan all the time anyways, so instead of just giving a message, perhaps you could maybe give us your favorite joke or your favorite story, or
I tell you, you know, it's not so much jokes that I tell, it's things that happen around us. It's things that go on at times, and you know, just to give you an idea of what it's like on the road sometimes, because I do talk a little seriously about it, you know, and there are serious elements to it. But we were celebrating the other night in a hotel, which I won't name. We were on the 2nd floor, and you know, we've been doing wonderful business here in Japan, and the people have been spectacular, and you know, the people from Toshiba have been spectacular, you know. And we're having a little celebration. And all I remember until 3 or 4 in the morning is, that's as far as I remember. I woke up in the morning the next day, and I was down in the garden down below. And I went up and I called the manager, and I said, hey, what happened last night? He says, oh, don't you remember? This is my manager. He says, don't you remember? It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was having a few beers. Everybody was a little bit drunk. And you bet everybody in the room $100 that you could fly. I said, yeah? He says, oh, yeah. And before anybody could stop you, you ran across the room and jumped out the window. And luckily, you hit the bushes down below, and that's where we found you and brought you to the lobby. I said, how come you didn't stop me? You're the manager. He says, stop you? I bet him $100 you could do it. And there you have it, Japan, live in front of your naked, steaming eyes. Yours truly, David Lee Roth. And what a tour this has been. What a show this has been, the David Lee Roth special. And I couldn't do it alone. This has been the most spectacular here. And we certainly look forward to bringing the whole parade back as soon as possible. In fact, by the time you see this, I may not have even left yet. So God bless you, Japan, and thank you very much. Domo arigato gozaimasu.
This program was presented by Toshiba.
Thank you, Tokyo!